Welcome back to Tea with G Part 2. Please view this episode in the intention with which it was created. Fair play, collaboration, community for the whole entire gallery. The keywords we would love for you to keep in your mind as you watch are fair play and inclusive. And also watch in the positive viewpoint that this was intended by us all. Tea's ready. All right, Abs, you are up again. Opinions on the current trend of CC conversions, default use, overuse?
Well, you either got to ban all or ban none. It would be nice to have a middle ground, but people just take advantage.
Yep, simple to the point. Totally agree. Brian?
Yep. Obviously, I used to use defaults myself, but due to the excessive overuse of defaults, every time you look at the popular now, it's full of it. So yeah, I would say at the end of the day, defaults overrides. It's all custom content at the end of the day. So yeah, flag it all.
And then Nivenor, how about you? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm fine with the use of defaults. I use them myself, but I definitely don't agree with the overuse of defaults that many creators on the popular now. I would like it for some of defaults to be flagged while some don't, but I don't know how technically possible that is. And so I'd say at this point I would rather have all of them flagged than none of them flagged if those are the only two options.
The uptick in defaults being used in the gallery is ridiculous. It's gotten worse with the May update. I don't even like that the same people in the popular now category, they're full of defaults. They label them as base game, and they may say that they're defaults, but new simmers don't know what that means. And they're saying that they aren't happy with it when they download it. It's not what they're getting. Some people might list that they're using defaults, but not list where they're getting them from. People feel duped by this. In my opinion, defaults should be marked as CC with the little wrench on top. This way people know it's just another version of CC, and you need that CC to make it look exactly how it is in the picture. Because how it is right now, it's just being used as a popularity game.
Thanks so much, Shelly, for your opinions. Nightlioness, do you have anything you want to add?
Point, Shelly. I agree that I'd like to have the CC flagged as CC, or the defaults flagged as CC. Even though they're beautiful and they're fun to use, that it misrepresents what you're seeing in the popular now.
Yep, I agree with what's been said. I think now it's overused. And I think that when you go to popular now, these sims that you're seeing are not what you're getting. They are completely different sims. Some come with hair, but it's base game hair. I'm an avid user of other social media outlets, and this has been a point of contention across the board. You know, a lot of people are up in arms with the overuse of CC. Now, I myself decided I would take all my sims off with defaults and put them back on default free. And of course, today after the update, I've noticed that all these sims that I took off are now back on the gallery. So I have to go back in and remove them all again.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Absolutely everything that goes into the mods folder is a mod, so it should be classed as CC. Simple as. That's the way I see it.
So, I mean, I'm of a similar opinion to everybody else with the CC. I feel like it's a really hard one to talk about, too, because, like, you know, me, I use defaults for the eyes, and that's all I use on mine. So no one's ever been really frustrated with mine necessarily on there, since that's the only thing I use, because otherwise they're getting what they're seeing kind of thing. But especially if you've got someone who they've got default eyes, skin, clothes, hair, jewelry, all of it on there, then yeah, especially if you've got the people on console who are trying to download that sim, they're not getting what they thought they were getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I do too. As far as what everyone has been saying, I have just to things to consider, because I used to be a huge fan, you guys know, like Guy, you created it, so does Nivenor and Shelly. Now when I used them, I made sure that my sim underneath looked good before, and then I added those two mods. Yes, Guy's right, those are actually mods. Anything you put in your mods folder is a mod. It's CC, it's custom content. Now feelings are getting involved, opinions are getting involved. I think all this overuse is like kind of like clickbait, and it's just a new game for popularity numbers and whatever. And as far as I'm concerned, the gallery is like broken anyway, so why are we trying to chase these numbers and then share things without integrity anymore? Like, you're tricking people, as everyone was saying. The last thing I'm going to bring up about this is if they do flag everything as CC that goes into the mods folder, I do worry about poses. That's technically a mod as well. Okay guys, roundtable thoughts on what everyone has said.
Well, touching base on what you just said there about the poses, I think EA at a must have some new in-game poses themselves. They've got enough people that work for them that can create stuff like that. Have better in-game poses.
Yep, nail on the head there. Nail on the head. I mean, if they actually made some better poses for the gallery, no one would be making poses, and the game would still be playing as good as ever, and there wouldn't be all this fake stuff being thrown up, because the minute you download it and go to look at it, you think, hold on a second, that's not what I've just looked at.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be happening anymore. So yeah, totally agree with you on that one, Brian, that they should just add more poses, and everything that you put in the mods folder should be classed as CC, because that's what it is.
Well, with a pose, it's more, it's a picture image rather than what a sim is carrying or what it's had done to it.
Yeah.
But would you class it as an override?
Say that
Yeah, that's
again,
what I'm wondering.
Abs, say that again, please.
I said, wouldn't you class it as an override? You're overriding an image and changing the image you're taking. Yeah?
Well, but that's what's happening right now. What's happening right now is they're taking files, other people's custom content files is what's happening. They're downloading the custom content hair, for example. They are putting it through a process. I don't know, because I don't do this stuff. They're putting it through a process that takes, Shelly, you would know.
Yes.
Takes the, they are converting it into a default overlay, which default overlays have never been flagged as CC, because we've always been able to use eyes, default skin. There has been in the past like some default lips, but there's never ever in the past been default earrings and makeup and hairs and clothing and all of this other stuff, eyelashes. And it really first started with the eyelashes, and people were realizing, oh wow, well, if you can do it with the eyelashes, can you do it with other things? And it really took on this crazy snowball effect of now everything. There's only a handful of people choosing to do these conversions, because I don't necessarily know if I trust some people enough to think, well, did they actually go and ask those custom content creators permission to convert to default and then share publicly? I think there's the people that are sharing publicly are having some gray area with custom content creators terms of use. I think they're taking this concept of for personal use only, which is what is said in almost every custom content creator's download terms of use. I think they're taking that personal use only a little too far. If you're sharing it publicly, yet you can't give it out, and you're directing people. Sorry,
to me, when somebody says personal use only, for me that's personal game use only. That's not
right.
I'm personally going to put it on my sim and share it to the gallery in a public format.
And then I won't share it with you because, well, I'm following the TOS. Like, they convert it, share it because they look amazing. They do look amazing, you guys. Don't get me wrong. And we all started using them at the very, very beginning, and then we realized, wait a second. It was when I got my very first few comments that were sad. They were like, this is not what it looks like in the picture. You just tricked me. People are saying that. They are literally saying that every single day on people that are using those creations. I've gotten those. Ina's gotten those messages. And when I started seeing that, I'm like, wait a second. That's not who I've ever been in this gallery. I don't want to trick people. I don't want, you know.
Yeah. Patty's put a sentence into the chat on
Okay.
this side here.
Thank you. Let me go
It's
open that.
like we can't say for certain whether they've had permission or not, but there are creators at the top of the popular now that haven't put everything in their description of what they've got on their sim. So if they're converting some of these CC items to default items, they're also not putting it in their description.
I think let's talk about what Patty just said. Technically, they are not sharing it. They're not sharing the files. They're just sharing an image to the gallery. Does anybody want to add anything?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I'd just like to say this default thing has made a huge divide in the community, and you're either for it or against it. And there's these two sides battling off against each other. And it doesn't really matter. You can yell blue in the face to people, don't use it or use it, whatever. They can do what they like. It's up to EA to step in and say yes or no.
That's it. I agree with that.
And
I agree.
understand.
We all have our own. Like, I use defaults in my game. I use custom content in my game. But since this defaults has exploded onto the gallery, I've then decided I'm not going to share anything on the gallery that has a default on it.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna keep them as they are intended to be. You know, and that's just my personal choice. So.
Yeah, and I also wanted to say that, like, I completely understand the want to get around the custom content flag. Like, I have shared sims in the past with custom content that's correctly marked as custom content, and it gets very, very little visibility. And so I understand the want to share sims with custom content, but also have other people see them. However, I do feel like it can be misleading.
I think as far as the visibility goes, there's a big problem now because the biggest issue is still what they did to the gallery since May. The visibility has drastically decreased for all of us. In general, no matter how many followers you had, I don't know if you're like me, but my download numbers have been cut in half. It's literally been in half.
Well, mine at the moment, I'm lucky if I see double figures on my sims.
Yeah,
exactly.
Same.
I feel like I've lost a whole bunch of followers, or even if I have still remained intact, my follower number, somehow from May, we went from having a certain number to like half of our number, and I don't know why. That really shouldn't be in existence. So I think that's also what Nivenor just said about, I think people are using the default on all these defaults now to gain that visibility back again. But the problem that I'm having with that, though, is there are some really, really amazing, and I've always had this problem, whether I was year one on the gallery or today on the gallery, there are some really amazing, interesting, cool, creative people out on the gallery, and I cannot see them anymore because I've lost the newsfeed, and what's clogging up the popular now is just a bunch of, I'm sorry, it's fake. It's not game content. It's been converted, it's been changed, and I personally don't think EA and Maxis want to be shining a light on that side of things, and I think that we either as a community need to take a step back and stop overusing this stuff every single day, over and over again.
I feel it's a bit disheartening when you go to the popular now feed icon, and then you just see it's just pages and pages of CC, and it's like, well, so you go, all right, I'll download them, and you know what? Some of these sims look really good without all of it on. So, but why dress it up even more?
Yeah, well,
to
I
get more
want to touch
downloads,
base.
to get that visibility.
Yeah, but it's a dopamine hit at the end of the day. People want a
is.
dopamine hit.
I want to touch base on more than no one's really mentioned yet. Obviously, the main thing that made me stop using the defaults is because, one, they're being overused. Two, the harassment that comes with it. If you go on the popular now, with all the sims that have got overused defaults, when you download them to have a look, not only do they look bad, it's the same sim repeated over and over and over again. Not only does it not look like the picture, it's the same sim you downloaded as the same 5 sims you downloaded before that.
That was one thing I was wanting to bring up too, because what Patty pointed out on there. They can technically still upload them and everything with all the defaults you see on them because they are technically following the TOSs and stuff. But seasoned simmers like us, it's not a big deal necessarily because we can kind of tell when we look at the picture. Oh, hey, they're using defaults even though the wrench isn't there and stuff. But if you've got some of the new players on there, or even some of the console players that maybe not be as familiar with some of the content that we do get on the PC on there, they can't tell.
I was even tricked one day. I literally looked because they do those base game hair refreshes sometimes.
Yeah.
And we get those, and they kind of just get dropped. And if you're not paying attention to the Sims news, something gets dropped, and then like a couple days later, like, oh look, how cool is that? We got something new. So I saw something base game hair, and that looked like Max's Matchy kind of stuff, and I was like, oh cool, what is that? And I clicked on it. I'm like, it's more default hair.
I also think it's important for to respond to that sort of criticism because in the past I have gotten comments saying that it doesn't look like the picture, and so I've actually responded and made sure that my Sims did look more like the picture and checked how my Sims looked without defaults, and now I don't get those comments anymore. So I think it's important for people to respond to that criticism.
Yeah, I would also say everyone here, when they create a sim, whether it's got defaults on or not, it looks like what you're downloading when you get it in CADs.
I think it circles back around the whole idea and concept of creating and sharing with integrity, which is really what I wanted to bring to the gallery in 2024. I think that we all can be kind and respectful and responsible. We can still share and support even in this, I keep saying broken because that's just truly how I've been feeling since May. Even in this kind of a gallery situation, I still feel like there are things that we can seek out in a positive and optimistic way. It does take a lot more work. I'm no joke. We have to click through a lot of stuff. It all comes down to sharing with integrity. I don't want anyone to be upset with something that I put out. If they're actively using my Sims and enjoying their gaming experience, that's what makes me happy. I don't want to chase popularity, numbers, competition. I never have. What I've always advocated, and I will always advocate, is fair play in the gallery.
I've always thought that. I mean, that's what brought me to you, Lisa, was what I saw going on in the gallery, and I sought you out because I knew you were a fair play simmer.
This gallery to me has always been about community and building friendships and support of everybody, whether you have one follower or 50,000 followers. Okay, I'm muting again.
When I started making CC, I'm not going to lie, I made defaults as well because that was the beginning of this whole thing, like when the eyelashes started. But then when it started to get out of control, I did not feel comfortable being a part of the whole default scene. So I stopped making defaults and got backlash for it and was asked, well, why aren't you doing this anymore? I really want you to do this. That's not why I'm doing it. I like to make CC, and if this is all going on in the gallery and it's causing turmoil, I don't want to be a part of that.
Because the overuse has made you a target.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I think that's where the problem lies, isn't it? It's see, when it was just eyes, everybody could use them and nobody batted an eyelid, right? When it was just eyes and skin, everybody was using it. But then it escalated. And now it's to the point of you're looking at these Sims on the popular now and you're going, they are so full of custom content. This should be flagged.
But when it becomes a thing of being stingy, or like, I've got this, I've made it, or I've got it from somebody else and I'm not telling you where, like, this is supposed to be a community. If we're all going to use it, then we should all use it. It shouldn't be a, look what I got, you can't have it.
It should be inclusive to all, not exclusive to the few.
Exactly.
And that's also, thanks Shelley for bringing that one up. That also was one of the things that really frustrated and annoyed me. And so I really respect that you shared that. And I think it's mainly this overuse and the people have said things like trickery and I've been catfished and all of this other stuff. However you want to think about it, I do think that it's truly way too confusing and ultimately does need to get a CC tag, a CC flag, a CC wrench in the gallery at this point. And I'm fine with all of it being flagged.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Lonnie, thanks for coming in. We were going through, we're still just on number 4. Clearly we've had a big discussion about that, which I appreciate. We're moving on to number 5, but do you have anything you want to say before we move on to number 5?
Well, I let me see where you are here.
On the custom content and defaults.
Oh no, I have nothing on that because I don't use any of it. So.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Lonnie. We are going to move on to number 5. What would you say to EA as far as recommendations for improvements? Number cap. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but there have been times in our gallery's history that they've capped the download numbers at 1,000 downloads to be seen in the Popular Now. So the Popular Now was capped at 1,000. So people would share something, and within the 7-day window, people would be looking at Popular Now. And then if those create, like for mine, for example, before the May update, if mine went over 1,000 downloads, then I would get dropped from the top of the Popular Now because, well, I don't need any more than that. We need other new, visible, great content creators that are coming every single day to have a spot to shine in the Popular Now. So they did at one point have a number cap on Popular Now, which clearly they don't have anymore. Also removing the Popular Now filter altogether, followers, all that other stuff. So what would you say as recommendations?
Well, I don't really mind having it up to 1,000. I think that's alright. I think Popular Now getting up past 1,000, like, you got your spot, move on, next person, let somebody else have a turn. But if I was to recommend what would you change, and it would be I would want CC not to be hidden. I'd like it to have the icons on, and it can be on Popular Now as well as no CC Sims together, so that if somebody wants to download, it's easier to see custom content, and it can get a top pick as well as the ones without. So that's how I would change it.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying about having it capped, but my opinion, what to do with a gallery, that wouldn't matter. Because first of all, I would completely have the most popular completely removed. Doesn't need to be on there. And in my opinion, the only things needs to be on there is the Maxis faves, have newly shared, most popular, and like Ab said, you don't need to have a separate section for CC. Have it all in one place so people can see non-CC and full CC all in the same list.
You know, regarding CC, I've never really, I dabbled in it for a while and it was fun, but I couldn't understand why would I even want to put up CC stuff, because so many people don't know how to use it. They don't know where to find it.
I think the main reason why CC started getting flagged, because CC was not So this is the history of the gallery. CC everything. We used to have, the tray importer. We could actually share edited photos of our stuff, and it was really super cool. This one's a hard one. I think 5 and 6 are kind of blurring together a bit. So let's just kind of talk about what you really do think. If 8A would just do this right now, ASAP for our gallery, this would actually be more helpful, more positive, more equitable, inclusive.
Yeah, I'd say that the popular now filter doesn't really need to be capped because the 7-day time limit is sort of a cap in itself, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. As far as the custom content flag, I think that it should still be there and you should still have to manually check the box.
There should be a cap on the downloads. Once they reach 1,000 downloads on a creation, it should just have a plus after that number or just stay at 1,000. There's too much competition in the gallery for the numbers that it's beyond healthy. I think doing this would limit that excessive competition, and I feel that the popular now section should have more than just the same 5 people that we see in it. Even though it rotates out every 7 days, it's still the same 5 people.
Thank you, Shelley. Let's read what next door Patty is saying here. I think they can change them once a week now. Stay away from all the buttons, please. They should do it the other way around. Show the CC stuff and give the option to hiding. Reading is so overrated. That's funny. Well, that's part of the problem. I think a lot of people don't even read the descriptions at this point. Most people don't really read. They see something, they click it, they want it, they download it, and then they put it in their cast or in their game. They're like, wait, what? That's not what I got. Okay, Patty, I'll read your next one. They just whine. It's easier. Oh man, I do love y'all's sense of humor. Everybody, and that's again what I appreciate. Even when we do have things that are tough to talk about or frustrating points, that we have to keep our sense of humor and some positive things about us, or else we would, unfortunately, I think somebody's brought up, I know Patty said it in the past, people are leaving. Oh, Patty must have said it, I think, up in her chat area. People have left the gallery over this, and that's just sad.
Regarding followers, I've got 0 followers and I can follow about 6 people.
See, and that's really the frustrating piece about the followers, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because Ina is experiencing it, and I don't know the approximate percentage of people that are struggling with their account as far as the followers go. You lost pretty much all of it, and you can still only follow, Ina can follow 9 people, and then it randomly decides another 9, and then you can follow only 6 people. I can follow my whole 300, but I really do think that I've lost some of my followers. But I have a problem with you guys not even having the capacity to follow the actual amount that you should be following if you wanted to.
Absolutely, and I've actually kind of given up on figuring out who I can follow, because every time I try to follow someone, when I check back, I'm not following them anymore, so I don't even know what my limit is, but it has to be pretty low. And it really needs to be fixed.
That's what I was going to say too.
Yeah, I myself don't see a problem with my followers or followees.
Yeah,
I haven't seen a problem with mine either.
I'm stuck on 9.
Right.
If half of us are experiencing this problem, then I'm just going to grossly apply that half of the whole entire gallery is experiencing problems with their followers or followings. Let's go one more time, round through, starting with Absgaming. If you could actually change one thing right now to improve the gallery experience for all of us, what would it be, Abs?
If I had to go, out of all the conversation today, I would choose bringing back a notification newsfeed.
My opinion is EA need to put out a mass email so everyone's got an email connected to their account, or when you sign in, the first screen that you get up, there should be a notification, and just close down the gallery completely for a week, 2 weeks, however long it takes, and fix the gallery. Just shut it down and fix it.
That's a very drastic, yet I think a solid idea and solution. Patty, if you can write your opinion.
She has. She's already put something in.
See? Don't we love Patty?
Yeah.
I'd say that really has to be two things: bring back the news feed and fix the number of people we can follow, because those two things go together.
I would have to say definitely number one would be to bring back the news feed. I think setting the overrides and defaults as CC would help possibly bring back a little bit more positivity and less competition. And then the actual moderators for the gallery to try to make it a more positive place.
Here, top 3, and I will second all 3 of those. Lonnie, what is your one thing?
I think it would have to be the news feed. It's been a constant in the platform forever, and to have dropped that, they have really, I think they've just really kicked themselves in the face. But I suppose you may have to have been a long time simmer or someone who has been with it for a long time to really appreciate what the news feed was and how crucial its function to building the community.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said so far, and yeah, the thing that would make the gallery great again is a moderated newsfeed.
Thanks, Guy. Annie?
Yeah, I would say I agree. If we're talking about just the one thing that they could make an improvement on right now that would help it on there, then yeah, I would agree that's definitely the news feed on there, because like so many of us have said, that's how we all connect with each other and communicate with each other on there, and how we find these creations and give appreciation to those people. Like,
Yeah, for sure. I think we are just missing that news feed. It is a part of our community. And the second that went, it was really felt a lot. And it echoed throughout, I think, all of the different communities. I would love that to come back. Hey guys, before we go on, I really wanted to just thank you for taking the time out of your day to sit here in this chat with me today, doing something new and different, but something I think that we can all agree that we are very passionate about this subject of the gallery and building community.
I think across the board we'd all agree newsfeed is the most important, and then shut the gallery down and fix it.
How about we all just have like a virtual group hug in this moment? everybody unmute and say thank you.
Thank you.
Group hug.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Good discussion.
Yeah, it
It's
was
been
great.
pretty good across the board. We all pretty much agree with what each other said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good chat.
But I also
Some valid points from certain people as well, from everybody. Because we all have our own opinions and styles and everything like that. But I think we all agreed the gallery needs fixing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I appreciated getting together because more brains thinking about the thing is just going to help. So I hope ultimately it'll help people understand the gallery more, and also help encourage EA and the powers that be that are doing things over there to focus on the things that are most important. And it does sound like newsfeed. To everyone watching, thank you for listening in with your ears of optimism. I hope you learned a thing or two, and if you want to share your thoughts and opinions, please do so kindly in the comments. I'll plan another Tea with G ASAP. Now, get back into the Sims and keep on simming on.